Okay, now we're back and we're talking sports this time around as Toyin Bitoye has been clamoring and making a lot of noise on our sports program,
A lot
Sports
of noise
Tonight.
indeed.
A lot of noise about it. Sudan must fall, Toyin insists, and all the sports desk, it's all about Sudan must fall. Well, Nigeria
need it
Super
to
Eagles.
fall,
Yes,
actually.
Nigeria Super Eagles, they've touched down in Khartoum for the first leg of their 2015 African Nations Cup qualifiers. And that is going to be tonight. The team arrived early this morning in Sudan, landing at about 6 a.m., we're told. And they're out there ready to do the needful by making sure that they win this game. And then during the course of next week, they will be having the second leg here in Nigeria. Well, with this, we have the issue of Stephen Keshi, still no contract. We have the issue of NFF, a new captain of that organization, the president of the Nigeria Football Federation, and that is Amaju Pinnick, and a number of other issues. So to unbundle all of this and to analyze it for us, we've got in the studio George Aluo on my right-hand side, who's a sports analyst. And then on my left-hand side, we've got Bukola Olopade, former commissioner for sports and sports enthusiast, former commissioner for sports in Ogun State and a sports enthusiast. And also Biola Kazim, great to have you here. Let me start with you, George. I know you follow Nigeria Super Eagles very, very regularly. You travel with them quite a bit as well. What do you see happening with the game tonight?
Well, it's going to be a tight one for us, I must say, because...
a tight one against Sudan?
Yeah, it's going to be tight because you just cannot dismiss any country in Africa now as a pushover, as the truth. If you look at a country like Cape Verde, that on paper you will say is not a strong country when it comes to football, with its small population, but look at what Cape Verde is doing. Cape Verde in the last round of matches were even on the verge of running away with a victory in Tunisia. They were at the last World Cup, Nations Cup actually, so that shows you the pedigree of these countries. And then look at Congo that had not beaten us in 40 years, coming here in Calabar to pick a 3-2 victory. So the pendulum is actually changing, and for you to be on top of your game, you must continue to improve. The crisis has taken its toll on our football. We'll have a coach that has no contract at the moment, and that will psychologically affect him. But having said all that, Nigeria has a way of rising to the occasion anyway. We are the defending champions, and it will be a total aberration if we don't go to the Nations Cup in Morocco. We'll have 1 point from the 2 games, maximum of 6 points that we're supposed to get, but we'll have only 1 point going into this one. The last time we went to Khartoum, we actually won by 4 goals to nothing. That was en route to Korea, Japan 2002. I think our boys should do that.
That was a long time ago.
But if you look at the antics of the Sudanese, you know that we are really in for trouble tonight. Because come to look at it, they took the game to AstroTurf, where they know that our professionals would ordinarily not want to play, because AstroTurf is not the best of place to play. But I'm surprised that CAF agreed that we should go and play on AstroTurf. Our boys were to train there yesterday night. They waterlogged the place. We couldn't train. So we're entering into this night's game without having a feel of the pitch. And these are some of the things that home countries do to get little advantages. Because they too, they are walking on a tightrope. They've lost 2 of their games, so they want to win this by all means.
Let me ask you, Bukola. George just said something that is quite apt. He said that a lot of these small countries are not very, very well-known footballing nations like Sudan, like Cape Verde. Suddenly they're throwing up the kind of results that amaze you. Is that because we are not growing football-wise, or we're being stunted in our growth, or because they have actually grown to a point where they become formidable opponent?
No, it isn't. It is because sports has gone scientific.
Scientific.
Right, and people are latching onto that, studying the art of sports, not just football, and they are beginning to catch up with those who knew the secret prior to now. Slovenia just defeated Spain, in the European elimination.
But Spain has had their problems even before the World Cup.
But it is also true. It is also true that there are no minnows in world football anymore. it is those who are still stuck in their old ways that will believe that Nigeria can walk over all over a small country like Congo. And the result was what you saw in Calabar. I feel strongly that Keshi and the boys got a wake-up call because they played the match in Calabar strolling around the pitch like lords of the manor. But the wake-up call was that result. And you saw that when we went to South Africa 3 days after that, everybody contributed a quota, worked hard to end that draw, worked hard to end the draw against South Africa because we could have been beaten. But it was hard work, dedication, something that you must expect from national team players. Talking about today's match, I feel strongly that because everybody are on their toes now, Keshi knows what it means if he doesn't win. I don't need to spell that out on screen. I must use discretion. But he knows what it means. And I'm sure my editor friend and my brother here would, agree with me strongly that if he doesn't win in Sudan, God forbid, it's bye-bye to the national team. Even if he wins, there are whispers here and there of bringing some technical assistance for him. Rightfully so or not, it's not for me to say.
Okay.
However, before I stop, let me just say this. It is a ridiculous excuse for us to keep saying synthetic turf is not a platform that our players can exhibit their skills. Wake up and smell the morning coffee. Today, the reality is that FIFA are the people who prescribed and recommended AstroTurf, especially for third world countries. Nigeria played Rwanda on AstroTurf. It was 0-0. Mikel Obi has played the Champions League on AstroTurf. What's his name? Musa Ahmed plays week in, week out on AstroTurf in Russia. It is not a third world thing. You cannot blame CAF for that. You use the best facilities you feel you have to get your results. I don't want to hear it as an excuse that they took us to go and play on AstroTurf and that is why our boys did not do well. Please don't let us create those excuses.
Let me quickly come in here. You said something about football getting more scientific.
Absolutely.
And some people are still stuck in their old ways. Let's take a look at the Nigerian football trend. And also referring to the fact that we got a wake-up call